Hey everybody. Well, don't ask me why, but I feel inclined to get on here and share something kind of personal with you guys, which is that I am in this moment so happy. I'm just really happy right now, and let me tell you why. So first off, I took a half day at work because it's my son's birthday today. My son is turning 6 today, one of my many kids. And so I decided to take a half day at work so that my wife and I can drop the other kids off at my brother's house, and we're going to take Levi out to dinner, and we're going to let him buy some Lego stuff, go Lego shopping. Well, anyways, I get out of work, and the sky is blue right now, and there's like snow on the ground, but it's just a beautiful day, right? And for whatever reason, you know, life has its peaks and its valleys, and its ups and its downs. And I'm sure you guys can relate. Like every once in a while, it just feels good. Like life is good, and I'm being reminded of just how blessed I am, and just how crazy it is the extent to which God has blessed me undeservedly, I should say. I mean, this car that I'm driving in, first off, is a big blessing. We got it for a real good price because it was the car of one of my wife's relatives, and we got it for a real good price. This car only had 30,000 miles on it when I got it, and it's a 2003 Malibu. And it's not the most fancy car, but it's in better condition than so many of the recent jalopies that I've driven around, right? And I'm driving back home. My house is a huge blessing. I just think about over the years all the times that I didn't have a home, you know, and that I was couch surfing or living with a roommate and not really holding up my end of rent, or living back at home with my folks, you know, or getting back on my feet but living in crappy little apartments and, you know, in tiny little houses. And the house that I have now is modest and humble in size, but you know what? It's sufficient for my family, and it's a beautiful home that my dad helped me kind of build. And well, didn't build it. It was pretty much a crack house before we moved in. But my dad helped me put so much work into that, like redoing the walls and the floors and just fixing the place up. And that was a blessing. You know, my family, my dad, coming from good parents, like I'm so blessed to have that as my experience. And so many people that are close to me did not have that experience. And so, man, I got this home, which I co-inhabit with this family of children that God blessed me with, that I created. That has got to be the biggest blessing I've experienced so far, is, you know, bringing new people into the world, and just the blessing of life, you know, and reproduction, watching these kids grow up. And I did this with my best friend, my wife, who is also my best friend. That is such a blessing. It makes me so happy to think about my wife. And it also makes me happy, and here's another big blessing, is that my wife, you know, doing Fallen World Films, which clearly my wife really supports, but you guys don't see behind the scenes the amount of time and effort that it takes for me to do what I'm doing on this channel. It wouldn't be such a big deal, I suppose, if I were doing it for a living, but I'm not. You know, I'm gone over 50 hours a week at work. And again, I got all these kids, and I'm a family man, you know, so on the very little free time I have, with that small window of time that I get per week to do something, you know, that I want to do, I spend the majority of it working on these videos. And so, although it hasn't, you know, my relationship with my wife continues to just be great, there have been moments where we've butt heads over the amount of time I'm spending on the channel and my ultimate vision for the future of the channel. And, you know, we've had our little the fights here and there, I guess. But things have just been so great in my marriage for such a long time now. And now Amber has come to me. She's part of the live streams that I've been doing now. She's my co-host. And that wasn't me twisting her arm into doing it. She wants to do it. And that is such a blessing. I'm so excited about that. Now I'm going to be able to both hang out with my wife and have quality time, also keep the channel up, and we're going to be doing this together. And trust me, you guys, my wife is plenty qualified to be a co-host and to present the same information that I am. She's got to be one of the smartest people I know, and she talks. She's really eloquent and articulate, and the only problem is sometimes it's hard to focus on what she's saying because you're too distracted by how pretty she is. But so anyways, guys, I could keep listing these blessings. There's that old Christian hymn, count your blessings, name them one by one, count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Boom, 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 boom. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Some of the Southern Baptist kind of twang I put on that one. But you do, I count the list just goes on and on and on and on of the ways that I've been blessed, and I just think of what I've been through in life and some of these jobs I've had, my job being another giant blessing. It's not, I'm not rich, I'm not a wealthy man, but where I'm at right now in the career that God's led me to, and the hurdles that I've had to jump over to get to where I am. I mean, my last job was I was running these giant hot rubber press machines. They were just like a mix between a CNC machine and a giant oven, right? And all day long, and the environment in this place, it was like this small, just kind of gross place, and the heat in there was just nuts. It was like being in the hottest part of a kitchen anywhere in that place. And we all had to wear the masks, and your glasses were always fogging up. You were always sweating. And for just a straight 8 hours, you just had to, cut chunks of raw rubber and feed them into these big hot machines, burning yourself all over. We would only get 2 breaks. There was no lunch period, and there were only 2 10-minute breaks. And some guys would, use those 10 minutes to eat, but for me, and on being an unfortunate cigarette addict, that was just like I would use my 2 breaks to run outside and try to smoke. And I didn't even have time to smoke a full cigarette before I had to be back at the machine. That was just one of many jobs. I counted it up. I think that my current job is the 23rd job that I've had. And that's because for all the years, ever since I pretty much moved out at the age of 18, and I pursued a music career, as some of you guys know, and I've talked about in some videos. And so for over a decade, I was pursuing this music career at a professional level, but I was never making enough to actually really take care of myself. So I had to just pick up jobs. I always had to be employed at some regular job, but as soon as that regular job would interfere with my music ambitions or plans, then I would just, quit the job and find another job down the line. And there, in those days, you could actually do that. It didn't used to be. I guess these days you can too. I guess everyone's hiring. But yeah, so my job is such a blessing. And like I was saying, you guys, I hope that some of you are having a day like I am right now, where everything's going right and you're aware of your blessings and you're acknowledging them and you're thanking God. And if maybe you're having a bad day, it might be fruitful for you to do what I'm doing and just take a moment to really count your blessings. Just think about all the things that God's done in your life, and where you're at now compared to maybe where you've been at different times in your life. And finally, even though I kind of want to sit here and keep listing things in the material world that I'm thankful for, grateful for, and feel blessed by, that are making me happy, as much as it's bringing me joy to do this, and I would just want to keep listing them, there's one overarching blessing and thing that makes me happier than all, and you know what, it's the bedrock by which I'm experiencing all these blessings and able to recognize them as the blessings they are, and that is my salvation in Jesus. The idea that I'm forgiven for my sins, and the fact that ever since I submitted my life before God, and He, in the physical world around me, He changed my life. He but it's a spiritual thing. Like, He changed my heart to start desiring what's good, and to start despising what's bad. And even though, as I just admitted to, I still smoke cigarettes, and I got a long list of sins that I still struggle with, so I'm not some holier than thou kind of, I'm not up on a high horse, but my heart has changed, and it's continuing to change, and the things of this world are growing strangely dim. There's another old Christian hymn for you. The things of this world are just so much less and less appealing to me, and the things of God are what I desire more and more, the more mature I grow in this faith. And so I have these days like today more frequently than I ever did in my previous life. And it's not so much that things, I didn't just win the lottery, or, apart from being excited to watch my son have fun for his birthday, there's nothing out of the ordinary going on today which is resulting in me feeling so happy. It's just this, I'm just acknowledging, I just am constantly aware of that I'm saved. I've been saved. My soul is no longer in this dark, confused, hole of despair. I'm no longer wondering and worried and concerned or anxious about, where my life is going or what God's got, or what's coming in the future, because now I understand that's all in God's hands. And God's laid out my responsibilities right in front of me, and that's to love God before all others, and before all else, to treat others the way I'd like to be treated, love my neighbor, to be a good husband, to be a good father. And I'm able to just live each day now just in the peace of knowing that I'm in God's will, and I really hope that you guys either do experience this same joy and peace that I have, or that you will consider what I'm telling you, hear the truth in my voice. If you're not saved, I'm talking about. And I hope that this will encourage you that, to consider that maybe it's time for you to drop your guard, give your life over to God, put your faith in Christ, and reap the blessings, the benefits, and the happiness that comes from not being part of this falling world, that's falling apart all around us. Because I'm still sharing this same space with anybody that is stuck in that hole of despair. I'm still in the same world. The world's falling down around me. And like I said, I still got my sins I'm struggling with. But you know what? I'm saved. There's a place being prepared for me in heaven, as well as my family. And this world, this life that I'm living, is my battlefield. And I'm living out my one chance to prove to God what kind of servant and warrior that I can be. This is an exciting time to be alive. Honestly, that's another thing I'm blessed by and that I'm happy about. I don't look at this world, and I don't look at the New World Order, being established around us as a scary and dreadful thing. Now, in reality, it is a scary and dreadful thing, but for me, it's exciting. And if you're a Christian, it should be for you too. I mean, this is it, you guys. We got front row seats to the greatest show on earth. The big event. It's happening now. It seems to be. And I'm blessed to be here during this time, and I'm blessed that God has put me through what God has put me through, and the things I've had to experience and the losses that I've had to endure, and the pain that I've had to go through, so that I could understand these truths that I'm now in a position to turn around and share with other people and with you guys. So hope this video was a blessing to somebody. But I just wanted to share how blessed I am with you guys. I am happy. I'm having a good day. And I really hope you guys have a good day too. All right, bye-bye.